Hey, I'm Nick Bennett. I drove 83 G2 reviews in 3 days, and this is how I did it. I just sent a few emails. First thing that I had to do is you had to understand, who filled out an NPS survey in the last 90 days. You wrote an actual email like a human, very important. You sent out the email from Marketo, again, using your own tools, super simple to do. And then you waited to see if anyone actually emailed you with proof that they filled out the survey. So, just me, a few supporting people on the engineering team to pull the NPS surveys, but it was able to drive a lot of impact at zero cost and helped a ton on the retention side.
If that resonates with you, listen along. Also, check out our other episodes. You're listening to TNDR, the B2B SaaS growth podcast brought to you by Spear Growth. The goal of the podcast is to enable you, our listeners, to generate an additional $100,000 in cumulative pipeline by May 2024. To do this, we bring people who have made a real impact in their companies. They cut through the fluff and dive deep into one tactic or strategy of theirs. I'm your host Ishan. Let's generate pipeline.
Hey Nick, thank you so much for joining our podcast. I've been following you. I think most of your audience, correct me if I'm wrong, find you on LinkedIn maybe. And that's how I also found you. And I think the kind of content you post, and I've taken a lot of inspiration from that personally. So thank you so much for doing that as well. It's really nice to have you.
Yeah, that means a lot. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So in a couple of lines, right? If you had to introduce yourself, how would you really do that?
Oof, it's tough. I would probably say, I'm a B2B tech marketer that's mostly worked in early stage startups. I've gone through the ups and the downs of it, and most recently co-founded a company with my partner Mark Killens called TACK, as well as Club PF.
Awesome. Love it. I think we'll get more into what those are. For now, let's dive right into the topic, right? Now, driving G2 reviews, so we work with a lot of B2B SaaS companies, and that's one of the most common questions I get asked, that, hey, how do you know someone doing a great job at it? Even though we don't even offer that as a service, right? So can you maybe elaborate, like, what were the stages like in that entire process that you drove?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the first thing was it was my first time doing customer marketing for a company. So like I was brand new. So I've always knew what G2 was. You get all those fancy little badges that they send you that companies put on their website and make a social post about. But like how can you actually drive impact using reviews? And so I was working for a company, Alice. We were a B2B gifting platform. And so it was easy to use our own platform to be able to incentivize people, whether it's for good or for bad. I just wanted honest feedback. And so many people think that the reviews that you see on a website like G2, they're bribed or they're like, they're paid for. A lot of people incentivize people to leave reviews, but they don't care if it's positive and negative. They just want to improve the experience for their own company. And so that was all I was trying to do. We had all this data of people that were filling out NPS surveys that were users of the company. And so what I did was figure out who rated us in an NPS survey in the last 90 days. Now, for us being a product, we would always talk to the admin or whoever was in charge of the account, but we never actually talked a lot to the users. We would see the NPS, but we didn't do a ton of outreach to them. So I said, all right, cool. This is going to be pretty simple, low lift. I uploaded those people that filled out that NPS survey in the last 90 days to Marketo. That's what we used for our marketing automation platform at the time. I didn't BCC everyone. You see a lot of times, the BCC and try to just mass email that way. It came out to about 310 people that left us an NPS survey. And now I think something of note here was I didn't just focus on the eights, the nines, the tens, the people that rated you highly, because obviously they're going to give you a favorable review. I went all the way across the board, whether you gave us a one, whether you gave us anything in between. I wanted to include you because, again, I wanted to make sure that your voice was heard. Hey, if there's an issue on the product roadmap, I wanted to make sure that that was included. So did all of that, got everything in Marketo, and then I wrote an email like an actual human. And again, I kept it pretty simple. I said, hey, this is Nick Bennett from Alice. I saw you rated us in a recent customer survey. Since you send everyone else gifts, how about getting one for yourself? I have a simple ask. Would you be willing to share the love by writing us a G2 review, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent? And when you do, I'll send you a gift for once. No strings attached, just leave a review, reply to this with a screenshot, and I'll personally pick out a nice gift for you. No gift cards, I promise. Look forward to talking to you soon. Nick Bennett. P.S. Let me know if there's anything I can do to improve your experience with Alice or help on your next marketing campaign. So I offered the additional help there as well. And I think people enjoy that it wasn't just another gift card because, you see these things on G2. It's like, oh, fill out this G2 survey, you get, $25 Amazon gift card. Why not send something actual of substance to people? So I sent it out through Marketo to 310 people, and I waited to see if anyone actually, sent back a screenshot of it. And so many people did. And I was just, oh, jeez, sorry. Slack is killing me.
No problem.
I don't know how to stop this. Oh my God. Hold on. Sorry. Let me try to figure out how to.
Hey, shows that you are like TACK's doing well.
Yeah. It's just Mark calling. It's Mark calling me. I'm trying to figure out how to silence my notifications on this thing.
No problem. But that's really interesting. I think we've gotten 3 steps right till now. So I think the first step was you actually have an NPS survey, which is
Yeah, well, I
important.
know, and I think that's something that's important too. It's like, and I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even know what we used for the MPS survey. I just knew that it was something that the CS team automated, that anytime
Yeah.
someone logged into Alice, it was something they got.
Okay, perfect. So, sorry. So you've sent the email, right? And I love the script. Like, absolutely, absolutely love the script. I like how effortless you made that writing that email sound. That was beautifully written. So, what happened after that? Like,
Yeah,
let's say,
yeah.
then you got the reviews. Then you also mentioned something about using the reviews in an interesting way.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out like, all right, cool. We got the reviews, and all of a sudden people started like my inbox got flooded. So many people were replying, so many people were sending screenshots. I just saw within like a day, like the number of reviews that we had skyrocketed. And I was like, oh man. So in 2 days, we had 73 reviews out of 310 cents. So that's a 24% conversion rate. That's not terrible. Now I could have probably we ended up getting that higher. Again, this was over 2 days. Over about a week, we got it to about 83. There was a lag that was kind of like slowly behind it, but we ended up getting that to about, I think it was like 120, 125 or something within the month. So it was, and funny enough, there's lots of companies that use that exact strategy now. And funny enough, there's competitors of Alice that are using that exact strategy now, because they tell me about it. Now, it's great, you get all these reviews. What do you do with the feedback that people actually give you? And so I ended up bucketing it into a bunch of different things, whereas like, listen, is this product feedback? Is this someone that could be a good reference call for us? Is this someone that needs like a little bit of like CS help? And then we would bucket into like, what's the actual use case? Is it ABM? Is it top of funnel? Is it like event related? Is it customer celebration? Like what is that use case, so that you can then dig a little bit deeper as you're building the product. One, it helps us like within our own product, but also it helps all of our customers. Hey, these are the best successes that we see when you're using a product like this.
Interesting. So you took out, if you had to summarize, what are the different things you took out of it? So one was, hey, obviously like product feedback. Second is specific use cases. So those use cases are not something that you prompted.
No, it
Without a
wasn't something that
prompt.
we prompt. Yeah, it wasn't something that we prompted, but it was something that we were able to easily pick out because people were saying, like, people were explaining the way that they use the product, which we kind of like knew, but it was easy for us because we never had any of this data like bucketed before, so it was easier to be able to go back to the product team or leadership and be able to show all of that, which was really helpful. And then the third one was like who was a potential risk of churning, because maybe they didn't have a great experience. And what we did realize was we had a lot of people that we ended up talking to from that didn't even know we had integrations available that would solve the issue or questions that they had. But it was because, again, our CS team was always talking to the champion or the admin account. They weren't always talking to the users, like user by user. And sometimes the admin or champion didn't actually relay that information down the funnel.
That's actually very interesting. Okay, so let's actually go down each step one by one, right? Um, so the NPS, when did someone fill out their NPS? Is it like a monthly thing that was sent in on some triggers or every time? So
Yeah,
yeah.
it would be. I think it was a every 30-day trigger. And I wish I remembered what
Yeah.
it was. It was a software that we purchased that we used for it. I just don't remember what it was.
Okay, understood. So you need an NPS trigger that is in software, right?
Correct.
Interesting. It was that's actually interesting. And so anyone who fills it out, and you can also automate this, right? You could somehow, if you could connect it to the CRM or whatever, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we just this was so early that we didn't have anything. I mean, I
Yeah.
could see the NPS in we use Salesforce at the time. I could see it in Salesforce, so I could see from a contact level who was filling these out, but
Yeah.
I didn't automate my outreach basically through that.
Got it. Understood. So you could just, it's pretty straightforward. I love how simple this is. Like these are the best type of marketing hacks. So, okay, so you've seen who's filled it recently. When you say recently, it's like 30 days, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Um, and 30 days because, just to clarify, it's not on the same 30th day, like on the third that everyone gets it. It's on the 30 day of that person using it.
Yep, exactly. You're exactly right. Because I mean, a lot of times, like someone would sign in and then not sign in. Maybe like a user might not need
Yeah.
to sign in for another like 2 months or something, or a month
Yeah.
and a half. So yeah.
Awesome. Then the email that you sent, I am going to repeat this. I loved how effortless you made that copy sound. That was amazing copy. Um, Perfect. And then, so one question there is, why didn't you? And it could just be a preference thing. There couldn't really be a reason to it. But then, why didn't you just tell them, hey, if you do this, I will give you X? Because that's the most companies, when I'm asked this question, they say that, hey, what do I need to, what is the value of the gift card? What should I give to them, give back to my customers? And you went the entire opposite route, seemingly. They say that, hey, I'll send you something awesome. And it worked really well. So,
Yeah,
what was the
well,
thought process behind that? Yeah.
I think it's easy when you work for a gifting company that like this is what you do every day. So it's easy when you can like dog food your own product and like again, it's the best demo that we could give is someone experiencing the product. So like the way that we can get more creative versus just me sending you another gift card, like it makes it so much easier.
And what did you finally send them? Like, can you give was it custom or like just one thing for everyone? If it was one thing, what was it?
So it was different for every single person, but within Alice, based on you submitting someone's work email, we actually had a team of real people that would basically go and like do real research on what that person was passionate about and then come back and give you three options that they would probably like as a gift. And so I would go through and like pick one of those options, and then they still had the power of choice, we called it, to be able to either donate that to a charity of their choice or exchange it or something like that. And so it worked really well that way.
I'm just still thinking, okay, this is so interesting. Okay, perfect. And then you got the reviews. Was there any, for example, when we get reviews at Spear Grows, right? And we've been told multiple times, hey, I have never seen anyone's customers give as detailed reviews as we get. And one of the reasons we get that is because we'll actually send out all the, at least the stats, right? That, hey, if someone agrees to give a good review, we send out all the positive stats to them. Did you do it? Would you recommend doing something like that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's probably a pretty smart idea. I did not do that. I just kind of like literally just wanted like feedback. And I mean, some of the reviews were like one line and, you know, probably not a ton of value, but there was some that was like, you know, 4 or 5 lines that were pretty detailed. But again, I didn't prompt people to say, hey, you know, here's some stats or something that you could use. But it's honestly, it's probably a good strategy.
Okay, perfect. Uh, Let's get into the team, right? Like, how many people were really involved? Because as simple as it sounds, and we can do like two versions for every single stage. One
Yeah.
could be the, hey, when doing it one time manually, and then if you automate it, what would that look like? Right. So,
Yeah.
can you just like walk us through that?
Yeah, I mean honestly, it wasn't a big team. It was myself and I needed one person on the engineering team to pull the MPS data for me and they would put it into a table every Monday for me. Um, Outside of that, that's that's really it. I handled literally everything else.
And who sort of did the account research for everyone who agreed to give the review?
I guess that's part of the Alice product. So like there wasn't any one person. It was like we had a team of people that did it. And that's even for our customers at the time. That was something that was part of like what they got. But I would
Interesting. So,
say,
like,
yeah.
can you share something about like Alice and pricing around that? Like, or is that like behind a demo or something?
Yeah, no, I mean, I honestly, it's a few years ago now, so like it might have changed, but and they got acquired by Zendoso, so like, I mean, you could probably get it for like 20K a year.
Got it.
Yeah,
Understood. So this is something that Alice would do for you, the entire research on what the
yeah,
options and all of that. Well, I think
yeah.
that was the heaviest bit. And if you automate it all, I'm pretty sure that does not have to be a weekly lift by an engineer.
Right.
The copy you could optimize maybe once in a quarter, honestly.
Exactly. And you could honestly, I could have done a better job of like the people that didn't fill it out, like reaching out to them and like asking them again. I only sent one email and I was done. I didn't send any follow-up emails. So like that's another thing that I probably could have done better to get an even higher conversion rate.
Interesting. Yeah. And if you had to now think of, so I think that's a good segue into what are all the things you would do differently, right? So we've discussed two things till now. One is reaching out to people who didn't reply, and second is maybe to people who did want to give the reviews, maybe send them a couple of stats. What else would you maybe do differently?
I would try to figure out how to automate that. Like, why does engineering need to pull the MPS data for me?
Yeah.
Again, like you could cut out that piece if I could figure out like how to do it myself. But the way the product was architectured, for some reason, no one outside of engineering could do it. So I would definitely try to figure out that, and I would try to figure out a way to like connect it to your CRM so that it's literally just triggers like, hey,
Yeah.
every 30 days for anyone new that fills out a MPS, it will just automatically trigger. So it'll be always on like a rolling window versus like me like manually batching it.
Makes sense. And you did go into the stats, but still, if let's say I have X net new, like, would what's the first number? Would it be net new customers to try and estimate how many reviews I could get?
I would probably say net new customers or net new users actually would probably be the better solution there because like you could have a customer but 50 users of that customer.
Got, and you would ask every 50 of them to give different reviews?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, they all use it differently. Because I think that's important to know. It's like a team that uses it on like demand gen is going to be different than field marketing, than customer marketing, than your AEs. Because we got a lot of reviews from like sales leaders and
Yeah.
AEs. They're using it in a completely different way than marketing's using it. Same with like customer success.
Yeah, even if you get two reviews from the exact same team with the exact sales,
It's gonna be completely different because the way that the salespeople prospect is different, and so the way that they think about it is going to be different as well.
makes sense. So, okay, new users, let's try and take that as a number and then just try and help people estimate how many reviews a month would they get, right? So, just can
Yeah.
you walk us through the numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say for, if you could get like 300 users per month, and say you get a 25% conversion rate off of that, I mean, that gets you close to like, the 75 to 80 number or so.
No,
So
but
I would just say,
like, so would how many of them would fill in the NPS after that? Like, just if you had, I know there's not really a solid number, but still, like, if you had to
yeah.
estimate,
I mean, say you get, 300, I mean, usually about 60% would fill it out.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it's someday, right? Like, yeah, if not this month, maybe in 3 months later, someone would fill it out. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, so 60% fill out the NPS.
Yep.
So that's like from 300, that's what, 180. So let's say we have now 180 NPS fills. Now from there, uh, in your case, you got what, about 50% reviews, right, over time, right? So,
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
oh wow, that's a
And then you just
lot.
yeah, I mean you just put it on autopilot and it'll probably I mean you could tweak it and I mean it'll go up and go down depending on how much effort you put into it.
If I had to guess, I would have said out of 300, maybe you'll get like 2 reviews. I was off. I was just completely off. So this is very, very helpful actually. Like this segment was extremely helpful for me. So from a cost perspective, you need a gifting platform, and honestly, you could do without it as well. You could,
Yeah.
yeah,
You could do it without it if you want to send like gift cards, which I'm again not the end of the world.
yeah,
But it just makes it a little bit easier to get
yeah,
more detailed with a gifting platform.
yeah. And I think it's definitely worth it if you can afford it. Yeah. And then there's a lot of tons of users marketing, like just literally understanding people's use cases and sharing that with folks, product feedback, stopping
Exactly.
churn, all of that is there.
Yep.
If you did it
100%.
again, would you not send it to people who had filled out a negative review in the NPS?
I wouldn't because again it's like you want feedback. It's that's why G2 reviews are so terrible. I don't to be honest with you, I don't put much weight in them anymore because people only do it for the people that leave positive NPS.
Yeah.
So it's like why you're never going to have anyone that disagrees with your viewpoint.
Makes sense. Perfect. Okay, I think this has been incredibly helpful. So, two questions, right? So, one, if you had to give a quick elevator pitch of either of the two things that you're doing, right? Which one? Like, can you give a quick elevator pitch of either of the two things? Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to join Club PF if you want to learn more about being a people first marketer, all for free. It's literally we have so many guides, we have Slack, all that good stuff, and it's free. And then we have a paid version for $99 a year that gets you about 200 different resources, templates from proven marketers that work to help you help you be a better marketer. So
Awesome. And if people had to find you in one place or reach out to you, get a response from you, what would the best way to do that?
definitely LinkedIn. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this, Nick. This was really, really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you for listening to the TLDR podcast. In case you're wondering, Spear Growth is a marketing agency. We help B2B SaaS companies like yourself with ads and SEO. Check out our website at speargrowth.com. That is SPEARGROWTH.com. Just like this, every episode starts with a 1-minute summary of what we discuss. Pick the next episode to listen to based on what you can implement right away. And after you implement any of these tactics and see an impact, we'd appreciate you drop us a note on podcast@speargrowth.com.